Look at those teeth.
I love this.
Hey, hi. Hello, guys.
This on the screen. Hello.
Hi.
Oh.
Nice to see everyone. There's a way of just setting it up. Just let everyone in one go.
So,
keep an eye on the waiting room. If I look a bit distracted, it's because people are coming in. I am conscious that we said we were going to start on time, and it is bang on 4 p.m. So that is exactly what we're going to be doing. So welcome.
Hello, everyone.
I'm Lisa. I know we know a lot of the faces here, but there are a few people who we don't know. So welcome to everybody. I am just going to ask if you're not on mute, just to hit the mute button. Oh, I think I can do it. I'm just going to mute everybody, just so that we don't have any background noise. And if you have a question or anything that you need to share with us, you can use the raise hand function, which is, and I'll go over all of this again, but it's in, I think is it in participants?
You muted me as well. Yeah, it's down the bottom. You can either do that, or if you go to reactions down the bottom of the screen, it's got a raise hand button. You can raise your hand. Cool.
Okay.
Excellent.
So this is trickier than it looks, actually, keeping an eye on the waiting room and then focusing on what I'm going to share. I'm just going to press no.
Do you want me to make a start, Lisa, or are you good?
You can do, yeah, if you want to do.
Yeah. Yeah, well, just kind of to summarize, guys. Well, first of all, a massive welcome to everybody. It's great to see some new and existing faces, of course. We're just going to do a little bit of an intro into what we're going to be going through and what we're going to be doing. And we want to get started, like Lisa said, straight away, because this is your time. This is it. This is time to create, to get your vision together. So really what we're going to cover is to give you, we really want this opportunity to slow things down and have this be about you, your vision for your business, for you this year, and what you want to create. And that is going to be almost the entirety of this conversation. The thing around this is to set intentions. It's like, what is our intention? And really declare what that's going to be. And everyone's going to have the opportunity to do that tonight or this afternoon, wherever you are in the world, because I'm aware there's some people in the States. Hello, Tiffany. Hi, Natalie. And yeah, so we're going to get cracking. So what I'd like to do before we do anything else, Lisa, is there anything you want to add before we move on?
Maybe just what to expect in this particular session. Well, in the whole event. So we have almost 2 weeks together, and this is obviously the first call. The Facebook group is open now for people to go in there. I'm going to start coaching people in there in between the calls. We're going to be joined by some guest coaches, which you all will already know about, just if you've received all the emails and correspondence so far, who we're so excited about that, and we'll share more about them. But Sam and I are going to be with you for this call. It's 90 minutes, and Sam's going to kick us off with a grounding exercise in a moment, just to get us really settled and really present, shake off the day, and really be intentional about what we want to create in the next 90 minutes and beyond. And then, yeah, we're going to have 4 calls in this extravaganza altogether. And we're going to, in this session, we're going to be doing a little bit of self-reflection, like really just slowing it down to get really present with what we want to create, like Sam says, for our year ahead, and just starting from a really solid foundation. So giving ourselves that space and that time to really commit to who we want to be in this process. So we'll do a little bit of self-reflection. We're going to revisit the questions that were sent out in the welcome email to do that. Then we're going to do a breakout exercise where you get to share with your partner. and then we're going to come back into the room and do some open sharing and some coaching. So that's the plan for the day. And that, I think that's it. So Sam, over to you.
Yeah, so this is the good stuff. This is where we get to just get into the call. So what I want everybody to do is just put down whatever they're doing, sit back, as long as your chair has a back on it. I don't want to see anybody disappear off a bench. All right, so just relax into the back of your chair, sit upright. Shoulders back and down. All right, and what I want you to do is close your eyes. We're going to ground and bring ourselves into the room, into this call. We're going to set our intentions. I want everyone to take a deep breath in through your nose and out through your mouth. And I want you to keep doing that while I'm talking. As you're doing that, I want you to just relax into your chair. Let your shoulders drop. Sit up nice and straight. I want you to get present on this call. Let go of anything that isn't serving you right now. Set your intention. What are you going to bring onto this call tonight? Who are you going to be? Who are you going to be when you leave? Commit to being relaxed, to being open. Transformation happens more easily, more readily when we're open to receiving it. We're not resisting ourselves. So I'm going to give you all a bit of time to go quiet, to just reflect on what you're going to bring to tonight, what energy you're going to take away with you, who you're going to be from now. And I'll tell you when it's time to come back. All right, come back. Is everyone feeling a bit more relaxed, a bit more calm? Can we get some nodding dogs? All right, good, cool. So I'll pass over to you, Lisa, because you're going to do some housekeeping. You can just set the rules.
I'm the taskmaster, is that what you're going to say, Sam? Don't believe him, it's all lies. Yeah, I mean, there's very few rules, to be honest. The rule is to, I guess the main one's just what I've said around just staying on mute, just eliminate any kind of background noise. If you do have a question, or if you have anything that kind of surfaces as we're going through this, feel free to use the chat function. I know people have mixed opinions on that, but we are open to you using that. You can raise your virtual hand. We will be asking and inviting people to share what surfaces for them when they do the reflections and the breakout exercise. So there is a way to raise your virtual hand if you want to be coached in this call, if you want to share, if you want to declare your intention for the next couple of weeks and beyond. But I think that's about it. I guess my only ask is, and actually it's an acknowledgement, just to say thank you all for being here. There's a million different things that we could all be doing with our time right now. And you chose to be here. So I just want to, and I know Sam does as well, really just want to acknowledge you for creating that space for yourself. It's really cool to see so many people on this call.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah,
and I want to just add to that, it just brings me so much joy to see so many of you wanting to coach and be service-based coaches, willing to help serve and help people create in this world. I just love that. So I really want to acknowledge that. So yeah, shall we?
good.
Cool. So what I thought we'd do first is just very quickly, well, we're gonna set up, just kind of talk a bit about our intention of this really and why we're doing it, and just introduce me and Lisa. I know some of you know us, but some of you don't. So I've kind of had an idea of, I'm going to share something with you that even those that know us might not know. So that'll be helpful. But our intention for this really was to create some space for you to really think about your vision and what you want to create, and to give you the support and means to go and make it happen. Like it's all very well us setting a vision, but unless we are able, willing, knowing, understanding of what actions to take, it can just remain a vision. And we want to help you bring it alive, which is why we brought our coaches in over the next 2 weeks to help you do that. All right. Obviously, we're here for you as well. Lisa's already mentioned the Facebook group. So a tiny bit about me and Lisa. I'm telling you this because it's a relevant story, I think, to many, many coaches. And I want to invite you that if there's anything in this story that you hear that resonates, put it in the comments that it resonates, okay? Or put it in the chat. So about 2 years ago, me and Lisa met on a coaching, well, it was like a coaching intensive, basically. And I had to stand up in front of the group and do a talk. What I hadn't realized until halfway through the conversation, that my zipper, my flies and my jeans was broken. Fortunately, no one saw my jelly roll. We're all good. And after that, Lisa, fortunately, helped me walk to the Tesco's to buy some new jeans, right? So it's amazing. When we talk about connection, when you hear me and Lisa talk about connection can happen anywhere, anytime when we're open to seeing it. And that's the first point of any relationship beginning, especially in coaching. So me and Lisa had this connection already, and over something completely random. And as we walked to Tesco's, we got to talking. We talked about where her business was and where my business was. And then actually we were kind of at the same point. You know, we created our businesses. We both, and I want to say this with clarity, that I'm not saying internet marketing is bad. It's just not for us. But we had both had experiences of internet marketing and niching and going down that road with things. And it didn't sit right with us. It didn't feel good for us, and it didn't work for us in our business. And we had found and had coaching around another way of creating business, another way of creating a coaching business and creating clients through service, connection, relationships. And as we got talking, it was really obvious to us that we love coaching. It's changed both of our lives, and we love coaches. And what we really felt compelled to do was to create something. We didn't know what it was at that stage. It was just an idea to create something for coaches to be a part of, to help them grow their businesses and who they are being in a way that serves them, in a way that they love, in a way that feels good for them. And that's why we're here. That's why all this came about. And for the first 8 months, we kind of dipped in and out of different things, and we had a lot of fun and we experimented. And then at the end of last year, our school was born. And Lisa will talk a little bit about it. I'm not going to talk much about it, but it's part of the story. It had to be a part of the story. So that's really it. And it wasn't until the end of last year where we'd met 3 coaches that you are all going to have pleasure of meeting. Masterful coaches, incredible human beings, have really helped us grow into our vision. A vision that it was way bigger than we thought it would ever be at this point. And we're making it happen with the help of these coaches. And we really want to make a stand for other people to do the same. We don't want anyone leaving this call thinking, I can't do it. And that's a little bit about us. Because there's some people that can relate to it. Yeah, cool. Excellent. Yeah. Is there anything you want to add to that, Lisa?
No, I think, well, there's tons that I could add, but I really want to make this session about you guys. And I love what you've shared, Sam, already. I don't think there's anything I need to add to that. I will share just a tiny bit about the school, but it's not what this is about. And again, it's just building on that, what Sam said around, for us, it's about showing people what's possible. So this, what we're going to do today, is a tiny, tiny snippet of some of the stuff that happens in the school. But really, it's like, it's such a different experience when you have a really long, immersive program that you're, you know, like your journey is just, it's not about just going to one intensive where Sam and I met, or just doing a 1-day course. It's whatever you get from this, from these 2 weeks. You might feel really complete, which is awesome, but just know that this, it feels always to me like this is the beginning of something. And it feels really different being in like a 2-week environment to being in a really transformative long program, and being willing to learn and being willing to be a beginner pretty much for all of your career. Like, that's how it feels to me. Like, the more I'm in this environment, the more I see, wow, there's so much more to learn, there's so much more to see, there's my listening, like everything just feels like it's exciting. It's a really, really exciting path that I'm on, and there's not a neediness to be anywhere other than where we are, but just knowing that there's so much richness still to come. Like, I think that's why we set up something like the school, because it's a long program, it's an immersive program, and it could be anything, right? Not our school, that's not the message, but it's about staying in the game and being willing to question what you currently know to be true in order to grow.
Yeah.
That's what I want to share.
Perfect.
So let's get into our first exercise, shall we?
Let's do it.
Cool. So you're going to put some questions in the chat box. So
I am. As you're talking, Lisa, guys, just so you know, I'm going to, as Lisa mentioned, I'm going to chuck some questions for you. And this is going to be your first process to go through. So while Lisa is talking, I will be doing that.
Okay. So these questions are the questions that you had in your welcome email. We're not going to put all of them up in the chat box, but there's going to be 3. And we just want to give you some silent, like, self-reflection time to sit with these questions. So we're going to do 8 minutes. We're all just going to stay in this room. I'm just going to spend 8 minutes just going over those questions and just sitting with them and thinking, is there anything that I want to add? Is there anything that doesn't feel true for me anymore? Is there anything that I want to tweak or get rid of? Who do I want to be throughout this program and beyond? How do I want to show up? So just sit with those questions, and we'll set a timer, and we'll let you know when the 8 minutes is up. I can't see everybody, so if anyone's got questions, because you're going over multiple screens, so if anyone's got questions about that or isn't sure what to do, just raise your hand and let me know.
Cool.
No, I think we're good. So the questions in there, Sam?
They are. Off you go, guys.
So 8 minutes. Okay. Time is up. We are done. Fab. So we're going to go straight into our breakout rooms now. So this will all be assigned automatically. There's no science behind any of this, because I often get asked, was that pairing done deliberately? So no is the answer. So you're going to be in pairs. So if you end up in a breakout room with more than 2 people, again, it's like we'll just bear with us and we'll figure that out. But you should be in a room with somebody, or if you end up on your own, let us know. But you should end up in a room with just one other person.
There might be a group of 3, Lisa, because there's 27 including, or 29 including us, so it's an odd number. So there might be a group of 3, or there will be a group of 3.
Okay, well, we'll figure that out. And you're going to get 5 minutes each. It's going to take 10 minutes in total. You're going to get 5 minutes each. We'll take care of the timekeeping and we'll let you know when you've got a minute left. And person 1, the person who's going to go first, has got the shortest hair. And the person who's going to go first, person 1, is going to just talk about the answers to their questions. So declaring to the other person how you're going to show up, what you want to create, what your vision is, for 5 minutes. So you get space for 5 minutes. And the other person, person 2, just listen. No interrupting, nothing, just listen. And then you're going to switch. So person 2 will have 5 minutes to share, and person 1 will listen. And again, we'll give you 1 minute's notice, and then we'll pull you all back into this main room, and we want to hear from some of you. So off we go.
Cool. So shall I, are we good? Is everybody back?
Yeah, we're all back.
Fantastic. So this next bit, guys, this next process is to have you, and it's really important. It's not just a case of saying what came to us, but really being willing to declare it, to own your space. And if you don't want to talk publicly, totally cool. Although we are going to encourage you to. Really want you to own your space, own what you've just talked about, own what you've just discovered and what you've found. And we're going to open it up. We're going to open this up to coaching, to questions, and to declarations. If you just want to come on and own that space and say, hey, this is what I discovered. This is what I want to create. This is my challenge and this is my intention. And then go, that's perfectly fine. So we're going to hand it over to you. If you want to raise your hand, start doing that now. And that's by the button below when you see reactions on the bottom bar, just click raise hand. If any of you have any problems with that, let us know in the chat. But otherwise, this is a great opportunity to declare and get some coaching on whatever it is you want coaching on. So I'm just going to go gallery. Okay. Who's first?
We've got Evelyn's got her hand up.
Oh, yeah. Bring it in, Evelyn.
Where are you?
Sorry, I thought you were just going to name all the lines of people who want to be coached, but I'm not sure if there is many at the moment. I want to go like straight in with a question around money. If that's all right. And I want to thank I had a conversation with Haley in the pairs, and what I'm noticing is that I really struggle putting a number out there of what I want to earn, and I keep popping back and forth between I wrote down I want a sustainable business, and then I thought that's not actually real. I want a prosperous business. Like I'm thinking, oh, I want a business that's just enough, that feels okay, but that's actually not true. I want a business that feels prosperous, but I'm really struggling with putting a number on it. And then I thought maybe I should, rather than going for like the outcome that I can't really control, maybe I should think in terms of proposals that I make per month or something. I want to create a business where I do something like that. But that might be a sneaky way for me to just not think big enough. So yeah, I'd like some help with like, is it important to name a number? And what number?
On that?
Yeah.
Question. Is prosperous a number or a feeling to you?
Yeah, it's a feeling, but I think it's linked to a number, or at least that's what it's a feeling.
What would it take to live within that feeling?
I have the idea that it's gonna change moment to moment, and that's, I think, why I'm looking and grasping for something tangible in the outside world. Does that make sense? So I can say a number now, but that, like, I've already noticed, like, I'm just starting out, and I've already noticed the numbers of proposals, like the amount of money that I asked in proposals in the beginning to now has already shifted massively. So I feel like,
How do you know when you're prosperous?
well, when I feel it.
What conditions create that? Just curious.
The first answer that popped into my mind was, I'm not sure there are any conditions. I can choose to feel prosperous actually at any moment.
Hang on a minute. Didn't you come on here looking for a condition? In a number?
Yeah, I think so. Like, I'm like, because that's sort of the traditional way I feel you have to do things. You have to put like a goal in front of you and a number.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure if it's actually true. I actually am not sure if it's actually true. I'm not sure if I work like that.
Mm. Can I offer you something on that?
Yeah, yes, please.
It seems to me, I mean, especially in the coaching conversation, to really see that what is true for me is true for me. And to really allow that to be something. Because otherwise it can, especially with a conditioned mind and all the rules that are created, it's like, I should have this. It just doesn't really work for me. It's just not really working. So I would go with your intuition on this one. It sounds as though you already have it, but it's under question.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah, I think my answer is actually it. Yeah, my feeling of prosperity is not linked to my bank account, but I've created this story that I should or something, or I think I create this story that I need to do that because otherwise I'm not going to be in action. But actually, that's not true.
Yeah. And there's a tiny distinction in there as well. If I'm being really picky, it's something around, I create the story, but we can question that. It's like, am I creating that story? Is it just a story that I have? Because we have those stories from all sorts of people and teachings and learnings. So again, is that really me, or is it just something I'm hearing? What is really me? What feels really true? And from that place of empowerment, of awareness, that's when we get to go and be ourselves. Does that help?
Yeah.
Does that make any sense to you?
Yeah, makes sense. Yeah. I feel like I've got an insight of something I already knew, but I feel like it's just clearer to me now. Yeah, thank you. And it's also like, if I already feel prosperous, I'm gonna help people so much better. Okay, great, thank you.
Well, just on that, there was I don't know if you know a guy called Steve Hardizan, but he posted something today and it really landed. It was really similar to what you're saying here. It was, we don't get what we want, we get what we are being. And so if we're so focused on what we want, and what we think we need, then we might come up lacking. But if we're really showing up in who we're being in our lives, which is what we were talking about earlier, we get what we're being.
Yeah, love that. Great, thank you.
So welcome.
That lands, yeah.
Thank you.
Cool. So we've got Joe and then Ethan. Joe Smedley.
Thank you. Hello, everybody. And just wanted to say to Krista, we had a great one-to-one. So thank you for that. This cropped up in our discussion as well. And I'm just going to cut to the chase, really, because I think it's good to explore, your own vision. But in terms of commercial costs, I think you need to be quite savvy when you go into the marketplace in terms of what you're going to charge. I think it's really variable. So I think it's really, you've got to understand what the market is. You've got to understand that your own value. And I would suggest that you start thinking about how much you're charging for each 2-hour session, and then think about bundles. So depending on what the client ask is, it's being flexible then in terms of how long do you believe that might take, so that you can bundle up some of those hourly rates and then give clients clear ideas. Because
sorry, can I cut in? I want to invite you to share for you.
all right, okay.
I want to invite you to share what your declaration is for your vision. Like that, I want to invite you to do that. For you to see something about your practice and your work and who you're being.
Yeah, I understand. So I want to double my turnover within the next year, and I want to grow my existing bench. So I have a suite of exec coaches who are fabulous, really high caliber, and I want to be able to generate more business so that the bench can start to mobilize, and we can just get some of those standards established within other organizations as well. So I want to double the turnover and also extend the client base so that my Zest coaching benches can also be mobilized. I also want to establish really good exec coaching practice within different organizations, so that we start to dispel lots of myths out there that still exist around what coaching is, what it isn't, and also, just leading on from the point I started with, what the value is in the marketplace for really good quality exec coaching.
Awesome. So raising the bar in terms of the income that you're bringing into your business or your business is doing, but also raising the bar in terms of the standards that are out there for executive coaching within those organizations. Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Anything else you want to share? Any challenges that you've got with that, Jo? Or is it literally just, I'm going to voice this and I'm going to do it?
Yeah, no challenges.
Awesome.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
It's good to meet you, Jo.
And you.
Okay, so we've got Ethan next.
Hey guys, good to see you. Good to be here. And yeah, I noticed to kind of build on. Oh, sorry, I forgot her name. The first person who spoke. To do with money, I noticed when I'm declaring my revenue goals and so forth. As you know, that a lot of my story and so forth is around creating wealth for myself, and that's the challenge that I see. And so I noticed that I've got a lack of clarity around that, where I state my goal and I can't tell whether it feels like I might be too ambitious, but at the same time, I also feel like maybe I'm playing small because I'm concerned that I can't hit it and I don't want to pressure myself. So there's a lack of clarity around that. Like, what am I, I guess just doing this exercise, helped to shed some light on that. So that's good, the awareness there. And I feel like, okay, setting a goal and making it visible will help me to at least know that I'm doing things aligned to that. So that's good. But I guess, yeah, the question is, how do I know when how do I use it in the best way, I guess, this goal?
Yeah. So just to be clear, Ethan, is your question, how do I have a money goal that feels good, that feels helpful, that feels right for me?
Yeah. I want it to be something that actually empowers me and helps me to actually grow. But I don't want it to become a stick, that I use to beat myself, or just, yeah, and I don't want it to be something that I put out there that's just doesn't really have an impact on my day-to-day anyway, and allows me to stay within my box.
Yeah, I love what you've shared. I really want to acknowledge that I just want to acknowledge what you've shared and your openness to doing so. I love it. I think, can I just be really direct with this?
Yeah.
Share some experience with you. Like money goals and especially fees can be a really intimate thing. They're very individual. What I would say to you, and something that really helped me with this, whenever it is a money goal, and this is something that me and Lisa have been exploring recently, is to have it 50, first off, be 50% believable. Right? It's like, well, this is pretty edgy. This is going to push me, but I still can believe that I'm going to do it. But also, you use the word empowered to help me feel empowered and to grow. So what you were talking about was how I set my goal, not what the goal is, but how I set my goal. What is my intention when I'm setting that money goal? So where I might invite you to look is what figure is going to have me feel empowered, is going to have me feel like I'm growing, but not have me feel like, holy shit, this is too much. I'm sure Lisa in a minute will get her helpful pen out and say, is it helpful or is it not helpful? And our goals really want to serve us. They really want to be there to be something to be excited about and to look forward to creating. Does any of that make sense to you, Ethan?
Yeah.
What do you hear?
Well, firstly, I'm aware of a strange sort of tension around this whole conversation, which is very interesting. And having it in public as well. So that's a good thing, I think. And yeah, the empowered bit, I think it's just maybe just some reflection that I want to do, because I feel like I am setting something that feels empowering to want to achieve it. And I notice some tension and sense of pressure creeping in as well. But that's going to change on a moment by moment basis. And so if I can keep the goal, but shed that part, or at least not take orders from that part, then I think it's a good thing, the goal.
Cool, I like that. So there's an awareness piece in there as well about how you're experiencing it and how it's affecting you.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah. I think that if I can add one more thing,
Sure.
it's just that I know this thing is also a useful thing for me to work through, because it feels like the next step for me in my coaching as well, because a lot of my coaching has been helping people to kind of unburden themselves and bring themselves into the now and kind of free themselves in that way. And the next step feels like now, okay, how do we then create in the world? And that gets into goals and so forth and how we relate to them. And so, yeah, that's just something that occurred to me. It's a nice, nice parallel.
It really is.
Can I add something? And this is for everyone, just generally about money goals. What they can be really helpful to do is have a look at our business model and see, is what we're saying and declaring that we want actually doable with the current structure that we're operating within. So if I'm saying I want 6 figures this year and I'm charging like £100 an hour, like when we just do the maths, that's just not going to work. Like the model that we're operating isn't set up to help us achieve that money goal. So what the money goal can do is help us take a step back and go, okay, in my business, is this even doable currently with how I'm showing up? So money goals can be really beneficial. And I love the conversation that you just shared, Ethan. can I offer something? Like, this is just personal. There's not universal truth about this. It's just
Yeah.
Isn't it the same thing, Lisa and Universal Truth?
Oh, yeah, you know, everybody said the first session. Sam and I went into Carolyn's school, and we had a money goal in mind. And within that first session, we did something very similar to this. And our goal moved, right? It went up. We suddenly like elevated our thinking, and we were like, it's that 50% possible. We weren't raising our bar enough. Like, we can go for more. So the first thing is, it doesn't have to be permanent. That goal doesn't have to be permanent. And the second thing is, I'm really seeing something about making it a game. Like, really making that figure a game, and it feels fun, and it keeps us in conversation, and it keeps us connecting with people, and it has us like make bolder proposals. It has us make bolder programs. Like that, for me, it's like that was the empowerment piece for me. It was losing my attachment to having to make this happen or I'm not successful, to how can we make this feel really light and fun? And then we show up differently inside ourselves, inside our business. So it was kind of feels like there's two strings to this bow. It was like having the money goal that feels kind of exciting, edgy, gamifying it. Yeah. And over here, like I have this real intention of who I'm being in my business every day to work towards that. So I don't know if that helps at all, but
yeah, absolutely. Because so the goal, the way I hear it, the goal is there to kind of call forth my creativity and boldness, like you said. So, which is what I want, something to pull me out of that box, so at least show that the box doesn't work, you know. And at the same time, knowing that it's made up, it's changeable, and so the attachment to it isn't there. Yeah.
And you can really tune in to how you're feeling about that goal at any moment, Ethan. So again, it's like Sam and I have a really clear agreement between ourselves that if this, what we're doing, stops feeling helpful, Sam's right, for anyone that doesn't know me, this is my compass, how I live my life. Is it helpful? Is it not? And that is as complicated as I get. So it's like, I don't know, is having 250,000 on your wall helpful today? Some days it might feel like it is, and other days it might feel like it's not. Is it helpful having that goal in front of me every day? Does that motivate and inspire me or not? So you can, again, it's like, we can check in with ourselves, how we're feeling about that. And is this still serving me? And if not, I can change something about that. You might not change the figure. You might still have the figure, but you might start to have a different relationship with the figure. You might not have the figure on your wall anymore.
Cool. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank
Very
you.
helpful.
Yeah, I appreciate your sharing. Okay, we'll go to Ben. Ben, where are you? Up here. Hi. You might need to take yourself off mute, I think, Ben.
Here I am. Hello.
Hello.
Hey, Sam. How you doing, brother?
Hi.
Thank you for setting this up, Lisa. Appreciate you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
You're welcome. Well, we need to give Sam some credit as well, or he'll have a bit of a hissy fit afterwards. So it was a joint effort.
Well, he did mention my name. I heard it. I did hear it.
I definitely sending Sam lots of love and appreciation, as well as you, Lisa. Thank you, both of you. It's a powerful space, and it's invited me to step up and play a bigger game, just from one conversation and from listening to everybody else's share. So thank you so far to everybody who shared. I didn't have a financial goal in mind. Actually, when I was speaking to Sheba, who was my partner, my declaration was, I am attracting an effortless stream of abundant clients that value and appreciate my coaching, whilst living and serving from a beautiful flow state of being. That's what it was. And it was all about embodying the results of the coaching that I offer. The biggest challenge that I've had and that I'm having is explaining to my potential clients what my coaching offers to them, what my niche is. And as I'm discovering now, my niche is the client and what they want and what they need, how they want me to serve them. And it's a personal thing. It's more than just, I can offer you this in business or I can offer you this in health. It's more about where they are right now, who they want to be, where they want to get to. And my realization on this call has been that if I want to attract more clients, as Sam says, we don't get what we need, what we want, we get what we are being. The quote from Steve earlier today. So for me, it's about being the result that people want, allowing them to see the result in me and the way that I live and what I bring to my life and the way that I show up, the way that I communicate with myself and the relationship that I've got with myself and how that then manifests in the outside world to other people. So being kind, being gentle, being empathetic, living from my truth, listening to myself and understanding myself so that they too can bring that into their lives. Because for me, it's not about me projecting onto them what they want. It's them telling me what they want and then us creating it together. So back to the financial goal. You said make it playful. And because it's about service, not money for me, it's about serving more rather than making more. It's about having that exchange of value in terms of how much service and how much impact I make on the people that I work with. Or let me just say every single person that I come into contact with, because it doesn't have to be the people that I work with. It can just be somebody in the street, the difference that you make to them when you smile at them or have a conversation with them. Every single person that we come into contact with is a potential client. This is what I'm learning. So on the back of all that and the shares from everybody else in the group, I decided to come up with a financial target this year. And to make it fun, I've decided that it's going to be 111K, 111.
Love that.
I really love that share, Ben.
Yeah.
And I get a sense of your being just from that alone. Like everything that you were saying about who you're wanting to be, it's like that came across to me in just that share. And it's funny, we were having this conversation with somebody the other day who was trying to find words for something and was really stuck on like, I need a vocabulary for this. And how we concluded the conversation was exactly what you're pointing to around, you don't really need the vocabulary, demonstrate it, right? Be that, come from that place and people will see it. And that's what's going to draw people to you. They'll notice the change. They'll notice who you're being. And the people who always come to mind when I think about this, I don't know if everyone will know of this guy, but in the Three Principles world, Dickin Bettinger and Elsie Spit, there's a magic in their eyes, right? So what they talk about is very much like presence and peacefulness, and it's like they model that. There's just so much integrity that I see from them. It's not say this and act like this. And that's the draw. It's like, yeah, what do you know that I don't know? What's that sparkle in your eye? I want that. So I love what you're sharing there and that intention and that declaration.
Thank you, Lisa.
Thank you.
Appreciate you.
Yeah, so much love from me to you, Ben. Love that share. And actually, before I say what I was going to offer to you, I wanted to acknowledge you, Ben, because no one else, well, even only Lisa knows this, but what was it, 5 years ago? My whole journey started on one of your events, your Shape Your Destiny events, and I met my first coach there. And it really changed so much for me. So I want you to hear that.
Thank you, brother. I needed to hear that. Appreciate you.
So it's much of the reason why I'm here, man. And something you said, can I be just direct to share something with you, Ben?
Please, yes, please do.
If it doesn't land for you, it's fine, but I think it's an important thing maybe for all of us to hear. It certainly was for me. And when I was sharing the story earlier about creating clients, and you said something really interesting, which was about explaining to somebody what it is that you do. And one thing I learned in my coaching business is that I don't ever want to be explaining to somebody what I do. Even now, when somebody says, what do you do? I'll go to the pub with my friends and they say, Sam, what do you do? I'll have to show you guys, to be honest, because I really struggle to explain what it is that I do, but I can tell you it's a game changer for my clients. Right? And so you said about the flow of your being and service, and I loved what you shared in that. And what I would invite you to consider, Ben, is not how to explain, but how can somebody experience what you do? And that might look like, I mean, certainly for me and Lisa, that might look like a session with someone, 2 sessions with someone, 3 sessions with someone, to the point where the needle for them has been moved so much and they're like, oh my goodness, Ben is somebody I have to work with. That conversation is that it doesn't need to be there. So
thank you. Thank you, Sam. Really appreciate that insight, bro.
Is it helpful?
Tremendously.
Perfect.
You have a lot of comments as well, Ben, in the chat.
Yeah.
About your loving energy coming across, very authentic, a strong presence. See, it's already being seen, it's already being felt. Yeah. Anything else, Ben?
That's everything. Thank you. Appreciate you all. Love you all. Thank you for allowing me to be here with you.
Okay.
Okay, we'll go to Sarah, then Raghav, then Tiffany.
Hello, everyone. I think it's a real pleasure to be here as well. I've really enjoyed it so far, and it's just so lovely to hear people sharing and giving really authentically, you know, how they're feeling. Really nice. So thank you, and thank you guys for, you know, creating this space. I particularly wanted just to ask about social media. Really, was something that I think for me, I find myself resisting. It's something that I know I can do and have done. It's something I resist. And I think it's because my concern is about coming out of authenticity, not trying to do anything other than just being ourselves. And I think that, you know, for me, that's, you know, what I do when I am on there. But sometimes I feel like there's a pressure to be out there more, to be doing more, you know, and there's a part of me that doesn't know what that more is right now, and I resist it, and it stops me. I can feel it stopping me. And I know that Facebook at the moment as well is one of the platforms that people use, but I do know that it is there seems to be some resistance around Facebook at the moment as well. There's a few people coming away from Facebook and WhatsApp, so I've heard recently, because of different things or rules and all of this. So yeah, so for me it's been, I'm sort of in that space of thinking about, you know, just starting to encroach on that, and then suddenly I'm hearing all this, and that sort of then puts me back again. And I think, is this the right platform? Is there another better way to do this? So I guess, and resistance, I'm not sure where the resistance is coming from. It's just, I think it's just this, because I am like Ben, very much wanting, you're very much wanting to be that authentic person. And I know that the way that I am is different to others at times in the way I think, because I come from the more spiritual perspective. So it's, sometimes it can, yeah, be a challenge. But today I did put something on that I channeled recently, that was a little bit pushing the boundaries and I nearly resisted it, but I didn't. I put myself out there and said, no, come on, I know I need to put this on to
well, I don't need to do anything, but I know that it would be probably good to put it onto YouTube as well. I've created an account, a new account, because I've now got a new website and things. So yeah, I can still feel that resistance though. It was a real biggie today to do that, because I know that what I have to say goes against some of what some people believe at the moment. And that's the challenge, I think. So it's not traditional coaching in the same way as perhaps some of the others maybe coach.
Can I ask you a question on that last little bit, Sarah?
Yeah.
And there's so many different ways my mind is going with this, right? It's like, ooh, there's so many questions brewing. You shared something about authenticity, right? And getting that to be a really strong value of yours.
Yeah.
And then you said something about, like, it might not be what other people believe.
Yeah.
Do you see there being a link as to you being able to show up authentically if somebody else doesn't believe that? Do you see that they're attached or not?
So I'm not attached to the outcome. I'm not looking I just want to be myself out there, but at the same time, realistically, I'm aware that I need to be creating the business. So it's getting that balance right, isn't it, in a way that, but as I think listening to Ben, I think that was really helpful, because I know that Sam put something on Facebook recently, and I'm running a manifestation group at the moment, and I really liked it, and it brought me home again to the fact that we need to be who, and Ben brought it home again, is that we need to walk who we are, not frightened of who we are, but just be who we are and be authentic of that. And I think that was the thing, is not, I think maybe that's the fear, is because always in the past people have said, oh no, don't use the word spiritual, don't do this and don't do that, and then it's sort of, and then you go further and further back.
So I'm going to try and ask the question again in a slightly different way.
Yeah.
Can you be authentic regardless of how people perceive you?
Yeah, I am. I am.
So the thing about social media, what is it that doesn't feel authentic for you?
Because a lot of people see it that as you strutting your stuff, if you like, and that's not what it's because obviously you're out there, aren't you? You're creating a presence, you're having a say, whatever it is. And some people I mean, I've had people, I've had somebody recently that sort of surprised me in the way that they said, and so there are always people that are going to judge you, but I guess in the end you've just got to allow yourself to walk past that. Got to be strong enough to be able to just be who you are.
Yeah,
I think that's
I really want to slow you down, Sarah, and really hear what you're sharing, because it's in there, right? And the authenticity piece, it's like there's permission to be authentic, no matter what anyone thinks of me. Whether they love what I write, whether they hate what I write, I can show up authentically on any platform. I might choose social media, I might not. But I can be authentic in any moment.
Yeah. And
it's completely irrelevant how it's received by others.
Yeah.
I know I'm coming from an authentic place.
Exactly. And that's why it hit me when someone came back to me and said something to me, and I thought, oh, because I know where I'm coming from.
Yeah.
And so I think it's just strengthening myself.
Yeah, the judgment piece can be hard, especially when we're first starting to be visible, and it feels like we've had to drum up a lot of courage to overcome that resistance to put something out, and it feels really personal when we get a response back. And so I just want to acknowledge you for doing it.
Thank you.
And
this was on my personal page, though. This was something that a friend of mine that was spiritual, that I just said something, and I just was like, whoa. And so I thought, well, if they can do it, and that sort of pushed then other people that aren't, you just think, But anyway, thank you. I think that's, yeah.
And just one thing, Sarah, on this. So within this challenge and beyond this, like, you get to choose. You can be really intentional about, I'm going to show up with pride.
Yeah.
Show up with authenticity.
Yeah.
And I'm going to show up with understanding and compassion for people who criticize.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And I can be really intentional about who I'm being. And people will see that in you.
People do see it in me. I mean, a lot of people have said how authentic they find, you know, myself, and that's nice. But I think it's that little girl inside that's going, whoa, a little bit.
Yeah, it's a journey for all of us. I'm sure you're not alone in this group. How many people, just to show of hands, like, has anyone ever felt like judged or uncomfortable? I wish I'd not posted that. Yeah.
I love that, Sarah. Yeah, massive. I call myself a recovering people pleaser, because I went on a huge journey with that. And, you know, there were two things I would share with you. Well, three. Firstly, thank you so much for sharing that, because it's so prevalent in almost all of us, I think. But the first one is, you know, that's going to happen. We're going to have those experiences. When we're a coach, whatever we're doing, we're going to have those experiences. And go and spend a day on your sofa feeling sorry for yourself, watching Netflix, cry into your pillow, do what you've got to do. But it's really the crux of this, the juice of this, is getting back in the game. Staying in the game, getting back in the game, getting back on that bike and getting back on that horse, whatever works for you. And the other bit was something I learned years ago, was about the word authenticity. I used to think that I was authentic. By being me, I'm being authentic. But I really wanted to be a professional coach. I wanted to create clients. I wanted to have a business. I wanted to help people create transformation. But by being me at the time, by being authentic, by being that kind of people pleaser, I wasn't being authentic at all. I was being authentic to how I am now, but not to who I wanted to be.
Yeah. So
you get to create your authenticity. You get to choose who you want to be and work that out and live into it. And that really helped me recover from that people pleasing side of things, because I'm like, no, I'm a professional coach. And yes, this is going to sting sometimes. And I might cry about it a little bit sometimes to Lisa. But that's okay. It's all part of creating authenticity. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I mean, I'd say I think Ben's message as well was sort of along those lines. It is very much having the strength to just be that person, isn't it? And not, you know, like you say, not worry. You just choose who you want to be and be out there and do it. Own it. I think that's the thing. And I think that sometimes if there's been resistance in your life, if things have been, you know, there's been things around you that have, there's other people around you that don't necessarily support your beliefs and the way that you are, that just makes it that little bit tougher sometimes. And that's the thing I've had to get through. So I'm now at that point where I can, my family and people around me have given me a lot of experience, and now it's time to own who I am and be okay with that. I mean, that's the thing, it's be okay with it, actually.
Beautiful. Yep.
So thank you. Yeah, I didn't realize how deep that was going today. That's deep stuff for me today.
There's usually always a thing behind the thing.
Yeah, thank you.
And as well, Sarah, there's a lot of comments in the chat that resonated with a lot of people.
Thank you. I'll have a look at those now.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, let's go to Raga. Hello.
Hey guys, hey Lisa, Sam, great to see you guys again. It's been a while. Hey Ben, great to see your face as well. Yeah, I want to start by actually acknowledging you, Lisa and Sam, because you know I've had the pleasure of knowing you guys for a while. Lisa, you've always been amazing from the beginning. But like Sam, your journey, I remember meeting you right at the beginning, and like I don't know what you've been having for breakfast, but you've been on a humongous like transformation.
Since I met Lisa, right? It's since I met Lisa.
Get up at 6 a.m. Breakfast time is now 6 a.m. Come on, we've got work to do.
Exhausting.
Yeah, but it's like really cool to see what you guys have been doing over the last few years. And I know I haven't kept as much in touch, and I kind of turn around and see what you guys are creating. And I'm like, oh my gosh, it's amazing. So just want to thank you guys for creating this and the work that you do. It's a gift to be here and with all of you as well. So thank you for this. So for me, I had a great conversation with Ethan and sharing our goals a little bit back and forth. And, I was thinking about coming into this year. Now, in the past, whenever I've set my goals as a coach, I've always done them from, here's a goal I think I need to hit in order to know I've made it. In order if I've hit this goal, then I'm a successful coach. And just this second, when I was listening to Evelyn speak, for like the first time, I had this realization that, oh my gosh, I'm actually a prosperous coach. Like, why would I not be a prosperous coach? Like, who am I to say I'm not? And it's just like this big bubble burst. And I was like, oh my gosh, like it was really profound. So that was really cool on this call. So going into this year and just thinking about like how high our potential is and what's really possible, I've set myself a goal this year to do 250K. But it's not about, okay, I want to earn this money. It's a reflection of who I'm being. It's a reflection of the impact I want to have with my clients. It's a reflection of how deep I want to serve all the clients I'll be coaching, from within the political space, outside of the political space. And that's what really excites me. So it's a goal that it's not, oh, well, if I hit this, I've made it. It's a, oh, this would be really cool to create. Now, as I sit here, I've got no idea how I'm going to do it. And I don't think I need to have an idea how I'm going to do it. Because who I need to be this year is just similar to Ben, just more in my heart, more of service, more of love to the clients I want to coach, and just get so excited about that and go all in. If I just do that one day at a time, I know everything's going to take care of itself. Because in the past, I used to be so the other way. And I used to hate, like deep down, running a coaching practice. It was so hard work. And what I've realized is all the things that have happened in my life and in my business, they've actually come quite easily. It doesn't require like the stress and the pressure and the hard work, and it can be super effortless. So for me this year, that's what I want everything I do to be a reflection of, which is who I am as a person, but for the love that I've got for my clients as well.
Wow, there is so much gold dust in that message. Like, I just want to take a moment and have everyone hear that. Like, that service first approach, that moving from this kind of, I set goals and then I beat myself up with them, kind of almost like a neediness, right? Like, I've set the goal and now I need to meet that because then it's going to mean this about me. And if I don't, then it means this about me. And what I'm really hearing in what you're sharing, Raghav, is that it doesn't have to be that way. And you've really fallen in love with the business side of coaching. Like that, I might not be hearing right, but I'm definitely I'm getting that sense from you in terms of I can show up to my business from a different space inside of me, and it feels lighter and it feels more fun and it feels more enjoyable. Because of that, it allows me to set stretch goals, but I don't use them to beat myself up anymore or to validate myself anymore.
Like totally. Like, and I know we've gone quite deep, so I can kind of go here and I'll just say it. Like, we've been talking about like spiritual stuff. That's what I want to channel in my business. That's who I want to be. It's not operating from the smaller I, right? The little rag. It's operating from what we're actually really capable of when you're in the space of love and presence and flow and creativity. Like, when I'm from there, everything is literally possible. And that's where I'm kind of coming at this for my goal from. That, I really believe we can't, see the dots connecting forwards. But if you look back, all the coolest things in my life have just come about from me being in the flow of all of this, just like surrendering, letting go, and just, showing up fully and focusing on where I'm coming from when I'm doing something versus, going after goals for the sake of goals. That there's nothing I could ever actually achieve that would make me feel successful, right? It's got to start from where I am. And I think this year it's really dawned on me even more. And just literally, as you said, Lisa, that's so spot on.
Well, there is no more powerful force to create from than that space that you just talked about. It's really cool. And I know Sam will have, Sam could probably do a 3-hour session just on this alone. This is one of his most favorite topics, around who we're being, like that space, how we're showing up. And no doubt that over the next couple of weeks, we're going to dive more into that. But I mean, I just want to acknowledge you as well. Thank you so much for sharing what you shared at the beginning. And I've seen a difference in some of your posts that you're sharing too. So, you know, that's one of the reasons why we reached out and was like, hey, you're on our minds, like, come and be a part of this, because we're really seeing you up to some cool stuff in the world. I think you're really going to get a lot from Gary. I don't know if you've had any conversations with Gary Mahler, but you'll get a lot from Carolyn and Amber as well. They're phenomenal. But Gary is like, I describe him as being coached by the Fonz, right? He's just like this cool dude.
Jesus crossed with the Fonz.
Yeah. I've never told him that though. This is secret amongst us.
But he's in like his shades and sandals and stuff. And like when I first heard him speak, I was like, is this guy a coach, or is he like a tour guide in Hawaii or something? Really cool.
Exactly that. Yeah. But he's going to come in. So he's on the 9th of February. He's like our final guest. So yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm just gonna second and thank you, Reg, for your acknowledgement. I really appreciate that. I think I just want to say to you, like, what do we, and not necessarily to answer now, but what has to happen in the next 13 days for this to be the first step for you in creating that 250K and the vision you have for your business? And not like not to answer now, but just something to go away and really bring back to the group. And let's go. Let's do it.
Could I have that question again, Sam? Because it was a little bit soft for a second when you asked me the question.
Sure. It was. One thing you got to know about me is that you have about 20 seconds, and then I'll forget something. What I was inviting you to consider, Rag, is what do you need to bring to the next 2 weeks with us in this next 2 weeks to be the first step in creating that 250K? Like, how do you need to be in this next 2 weeks to know that that's going to happen? And let's go. Let's do it.
Brilliant. I'll reflect on that. I'll sit with that, and I'll see what shows up for me.
Yeah.
That's a great question. Thank you.
Anytime, man. It's a pleasure to have you here.
Yeah, likewise. Thank you to you guys.
Thank you. So Tiffany, I know you had your hand up and it's disappeared, and I know we're at time, so I appreciate if people do need to go, totally fine. I'm good to run over a little bit. As well.
Yeah, we can go to, I can go till 1:45.
Okay. So Tiffany, let's bring you on.
Hello. Oh, I sounded British just then. I'm hanging out with y'all too much. Yes, I took my hand down mostly just for the sake of time. So I just wanted to be sensitive to that. But I woke up this morning with a thought on my head. I'm a child of the 80s, and it's a post that I'm kind of starting to create. And it was from the movie Grease. It's not the Fonz, but John Travolta, and there was a song at the end, feel your way. And my brother and I used to sing that. And it's really, really how I've learned to approach life, is just feeling my way. And with that, I've had several moments where I kind of received some more confirmation. Like I felt my way. Oh, this is the right path. This is the right path. But it's interesting to hear these conversations about goals, because one thing I've realized about myself is that I like to feel my way so much that I have a hard time setting goals, because then I feel like potentially it's throwing me off. The income I have right now wasn't a goal. I did in the Facebook group, I wrote triple that because I don't know why not, but it doesn't really feel like a goal. The goal just feels like I just want to see growth. I want to see unfolding, and I want to find the best way to work with people, to help people, to use my skills. That feels like the goal, which feels right. But then I also kind of wonder, is that too nebulous? Am I sort of missing an opportunity by not creating an overarching, you know, a thing I'm aiming for besides that.
What's your answer to that question?
It's worked for me so far. It's worked for me so far. So I guess, yeah, I don't think I need real goals. That kind of sounds really bizarre.
Real goals, Tiffany, but your real goals might just look so different to how you kind of attach meaning to goal setting. So so I had 3 goals there, but they were more kind of internal.
Yeah. Yeah.
A goal. Or you can, if the word goal doesn't land, you can drop it. There's no rules with any of this. Like,
Yeah.
my compass again, right? Like,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Do you feel like you're missing out on something from not having that bigger goal, as we are calling it?
Well, not normally, but sometimes I do visit the thought of am I, like, am I missing out on a source of motivation, a source of direction? But when I do start to go there, it doesn't feel good to me usually. It really doesn't. Like, what I want to do is continue to create things with people. I want to, yeah, my goals are they're all internal. Now that you mention that, I think that's how it feels. And my external life then reflects my internal life, I think, after some time. And to me, that feels, for me, like the sweet spot. But, you know, it's easy to kind of get in your head when you hear other people talking. I remember in the Facebook group, you said something about stay in your lane. And in the early conversations, just in this group, I thought, okay, just to stay in your lane. Don't get distracted by the idea of, oh, you should really set a stronger material goal. Which I don't really feel that way. But anyway, it's just easy to kind of get distracted by the thought of perhaps I should. But, you know, it doesn't feel helpful.
You just heard from Raghav just before you. Like, what a great description of, I used to set those goals.
Yeah.
Here's how it impacted me. And now there's like this greater force at work inside of me, and I'm creating from that place.
Yeah.
Right. So it's like, again, like, drop the language if goal doesn't work. But what I just heard from you around that creativity and that connection can be as simple as 2021 is going to be about creativity and connection. Right. Like, that's my goal. That's my intention. And then each day you can show up from that place.
Yeah.
There's really no right or wrong with this. And what I love about this profession is it's so individual to everybody. There's so many different ways to grow a practice.
Yeah.
You can tweak this to suit you. You don't have to get interested in anybody else's doing.
Yeah. Feel my way.
Yeah.
Feel my way. Sorry.
We're not ready for that yet.
No, it is 20 to 6, so that in our time, that it becomes weird at this time of night for me and Lisa. It's like the twilight zone. I'm not quite sure what happened. Tiffany, there's actually there's some I could say on that. What I really wanted to say to you is, it seems to me that no matter what goal we set, whatever somebody sets as a goal, it always comes back to how we are being and showing up moment by moment. It has to, because that's the only thing that ever really happens. What we choose to, how we choose to show up, who we are being. And you used the words growing and evolving. What I wanted to ask you was, how do you know when you're growing and evolving?
I think because I've created something, whether it's more income or a client or an idea or a playlist or yeah, I see a product of some sort, an outcome of some sort,
Yeah.
or a different response, something like that. Yeah.
And does that have you show up at your best?
I would say, yeah, usually it does. That's a very satisfying experience for me, is to see what I created through feeling my way. Occasionally, I suppose, if it's so based on feeling, then it's, I can have days where I tend to be maybe a little more easily distracted because that's the way I'm feeling that day. So that could be a hindrance.
Yeah.
I can see that. But then maybe that is, I could just step squarely into that and notice what that feels like. And there's so much learning in that. And then that's what I share. And that's what might resonate with somebody. Right? Yeah. And then that's a creation. Yeah. That makes me feel excited.
Is that helpful?
Yeah. Yeah. It's almost like I just needed to hear it back. Like, yeah, you're cool.
So here's the thing. Well, we know Tiffany a little bit, so I'm allowed to be this direct. Am I allowed to be this direct?
Oh, yeah.
So I better check in with you. Like, what? And I say this really lovingly, of course. But what's it going to take for you to really start trusting in yourself and your own intuition?
I am really getting there. Honestly, I am really getting there. And the more that I do it and the more that I see what comes of that, the more joy it brings and the more confirmation, that the easier it gets, I guess, to just allow it, just show it, to trust it. It has become everything I do, I feel like. And so it's funny that I would have a moment. It's kind of funny that those moments always will, maybe they won't always occur, but still like, ooh, am I missing something? It's that FOMO. You guys know I kind of have struggled with the FOMO in the past. What am I missing out on? I need a big goal. But yeah,
They can be good check-in points, like those thoughts.
Yeah.
Is there any truth in this for me? And that question wasn't, what's it going to take, Tiffany? Like, that wasn't that case. It's like, seriously, it's something to reflect on. What is it going to take for me to really acknowledge what I already know without fear? Really trusting in myself here.
Yeah.
Being me.
Probably more and more experiences, just continuing. Yeah. So then I'll look back and I see them all lined up. And looking forward, I get excited about what I can't even see because I don't know, because I'm just trusting. And altogether, it builds a really fabulous, beautiful, I was going to say building, but I'd rather say forest. Yeah. Thank you. That's good. That's great.
Any more?
I don't think so. Feels, yeah. I've just been full of so much joy lately.
Oh, I feel so sorry for you.
I don't know. I don't even know what to do with it. No, I appreciate it. Yeah, definitely appreciate it.
Thanks for sharing. Cool. Well, we're definitely at time, guys. For those of you that have stayed on, it's been a pleasure to have you here for a little bit longer. And yeah, hopefully we'll see you all there Monday. It is going to be incredible to spend some time with Carolyn. Bring some questions. Lisa, you wanted to say something on that, didn't you?
I'm just so excited for Monday. Honestly, you are going to get so much from this. I would definitely encourage you. We're going to share one of Carolyn's resources and a little bit of about her in the Facebook group. So if you're on Facebook, I would definitely encourage you to get in that group if you're not in there already. Go on her website, have a look at who she is, because she is just an absolute powerhouse of a coach. She's just phenomenal. So come on Monday, get in the Facebook group. I don't think I wanted to say anything else. I think that was it.
Ooh.
Just super excited for this, and thank you all for being here tonight. It's been wicked.
Yeah.
Oh, we'll share the recording. That was it. We will share the recording of this call for you. So yeah, cool. All right, we will see you
Lovely.
then.
See you then, guys. Lots of love. Take care.
Thank you. See you Monday.
Bye.